welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movie, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome! The way we format our show is first we start out with some news, again ranging from comics, movie, TV, video games, and more, and we follow up with our comic book pull list of the week.
Before we jump into news, do you have any stories to tell for Story Time with Kelly, which I think it's the third week in a row that we don't have a story time with Kelly.
You understand that the environments in which we work are very different. I will give you food stories all day.
I will give you, since I don't work there anymore, I can give you this GameStop story.
Okay, let's hear this
one
GameStop
of
story.
many. So, if anyone doesn't know how GameStop works, is you are ranked based on how many pre-orders you get, and also how many of those edge cards at the time, or power-up cards as they call them, even the power-up credit cards, how many of those you sell will determine how many hours you get for the following week, or the following 2 weeks, however they end up scheduling. That's why they have so much emphasis on pre-order this, pre-order that. That in turn tells GameStop, this is how many games we need to order, this is how many pre-orders we have, so get 10 extras. And then it tells the game companies, look how many copies we sold as a company. We got 700 pre-orders for this little game. So that's 700 sales. Of course, they don't tell them that they only picked up this many because GameStop's already purchased those copies. And to the game developers, that's already a sold copy. They're not going to return it back to them. So with that environment, it would make some of the GameStop guys pretty aggressive when they're trying to sell this stuff, especially me as well, though I got my craft down and everything over the years, so I had my own little routine. But the shining moments, and it's, I guess, similar to the thing where it's like, oh, these are the old Teen Titans that you're talking about, or the Red Hood story from a couple of weeks ago. The equivalent to that is when they come in on a day where there's a little game like Fire Emblem Awakening, for example. Not many people pre-ordered it, but everyone wanted it. We sold out on the very first day. But we do have copies down in the drawer. These are the pre-ordered copies. For the next 48 hours, they can pick it up, and then after that, we can sell them off. If they're regular customers, we kept them for as long as possible, and then they would come in and pick it up. So I was such an asshole. So if someone came in asking for it, hey, can I get the Fire Emblem Awakening? Oh, yeah, man. So I'd go over to the shelf where we have the pre-ordered copies right behind the counter. Like, we have all those pre-ordered brand new games. Pick one up, take it over to the register, scan it, boop. Did you have it pre-ordered? No. Oh, sorry, man. I can't sell you this. And then I'd go and just put it right back.
You're terrible. I would never come in that store again.
They'd be like, oh, what about that? That's for I thought you had pre-ordered it. It's sold out, man. It's gone. Oh, yeah, sorry. I mean, maybe we'll get another one next week. We'll get some more shipments. But it was just like a way of, like, in my head, like, oh, shucks, I should have pre-ordered it. Well, maybe next time I will pre-order the next game.
Then people like me are like, all right, asshole, I'll go someplace else. Like, you didn't have to do the song and dance.
Well, it's not like a clearly song. I'd be like, oh, I thought you pre-ordered it. No, I can't sell you this. Like, it wasn't like I was so fake.
But then I would think, like, you knew I didn't pre-order it, asshole. Like, you would have asked from the beginning. Like, did you pre-order this? No? Okay, then we don't have any. Like, that's all you had to say. You didn't have to waste my time.
There were little tactics like that, but those were the little victories, because you would tell that person all week, that same person that you saw come in, and they'd asked about Fire Emblem Awakening if it was out yet. No, it comes out Tuesday. Did you want to pre-order it? No, I'll just get it on the day of. Okay, we'll see. And that same fucking guy would come in and be like, oh, this is perfect. That's who I'd exactly do it to, because I'm like, yeah, man, I told you to pre-order it, and you didn't pre-order it.
And you know what would happen? I would go over to Target or Best Buy and buy it and walk back in your store and be like, look, found it, mofo.
That's fine, because if it was a sale, it'd go against the percentages for reserves. This is how the mind works, because you have a reserve, you're at 100%, no other sales, but then when you make a sale that's not a reserve, your percentage of reserves goes down to 50%. So if he goes out and buys it at Best Buy, that doesn't affect the GameStop employees' numbers. It affects the company as a whole, because they purchased it there, although GameStop doesn't actually make that much money off of the new games, which is why they push the used games so much. And if someone never picks up their pre-order and forgets about their $10, that's a $10 profit that GameStop also brings in without having to sell a game. This is how that company works, and that's one of the many reasons I quit after 8 years, and it just happened to be that I was good at pre-ordering and just getting shit done around the store. But one of those moments, that's my like old game. And I've got tons of GameStop stories, and they're all horror stories. They're all awful things, but they're not good. We don't become good people by working there. No one does. And Movie Stop is the same way too, because I actually worked at a GameStop next to a Movie Stop, and it was the same fucking bullshit that they had to deal with over there too. And it's the same type of shit where you have to pre-order movies, and you have to get those pre-orders or you don't get ours. So if someone doesn't pre-order it, or if someone says they're going to pre-order or they don't even pre-order, they're like, I'll just pick it up the day of, and they pick it up the day of, you're like, God damn it, you could have done a pre-order, which would have gotten you this bonus shit and would have helped me out. But instead you're just coming the day off to pick it up, and here you go. And now I'm affected again by the percentage going down. It's a very ugly place to work at GameStop. And if you work there, you'd understand that those little things are really all that can get you through a day sometimes. But that's my GameStop story. Yes, I was an asshole. I'm still an asshole, let's be real.
I would never come in your store.
All the episodes that the Brokettes have heard, and they're like, yeah, you guys are kind of dicks. But that relates to the first bit of news, which is video game related. You can pre-order this game now. Pokken Tournament. Pre-order it or you won't get a copy. They'll all be gone. They'll be gone forever. You'll never get to play Pokken Tournament or fight against this brand new character that was revealed as an extra boss battle.
You'll never get to play Pokken Tournament. Really? Because they're never going to get in anymore, Dan.
Nope, not Nintendo. Nintendo was notorious to just like, oh, you guys pre-ordered 30? Here's 35. Like, they would never print out enough. They'd be like, no, it's out of print for the next 2 months. We don't want to sell copies. Like, they were awful
so like
with
2
that
months
shit.
later they could play it. Don't say they're never going to get to play it. Anyway, there's a brand new Pokemon released this week that you can play as. Shadow Mewtwo was revealed as an extra boss battle.
So the Shadow Mewtwo has like this orange crystals coming out of its back, coming out of its head. Mewtwo's already had like several forms now. We've got Mewtwo X, Mewtwo Y, Mega Mewtwo in the TCG. And Shadow Mewtwo, players are speculating that the new form of Mewtwo will be a part of the rumored Pokemon Z, while others think that this is just an exclusive to Pokken Tournament.
So Mewtwo is the new Eevee.
Except that the typing doesn't change drastically. We've got the fighting and psychic type, and then the super psychic type.
Wait,
although
it's
I'm not
super
sure what this
psychic.
Is. Yeah, the stats are stronger as a psychic type instead, whereas a Mega Mewtwo, or I should say Mewtwo X, it's a fighting and psychic type.
Y'all out your mind.
Look, Mewtwo's a popular character. They will make as many forms of this thing as they can. It's the equivalent of putting Pikachu in different outfits, because you will buy the different outfitted Pikachus.
It's not the same, because you're just buying clothes, and I can justify buying clothes. With different Mewtwo's, it's not buying clothes. It's not.
So do you think this is actually Mewtwo Z, or is it just a boss battle that the company behind Tekken made up for this title?
I think if they do make a Pokemon Z, then Mewtwo will be in it, and it probably will be this form. Because why not? We've already created it. Let's just throw it in there. But I think it was probably created specifically. I don't know. It's for both. That's what I think. It is for both.
So you think it was created specifically for Pokken Tournament, and then they said, well, let's put him in Pokemon Z? That's what you mean by both?
No, I think they said, hey, we have this Pokken Tournament, and we have Pokemon Z. What can we release? What can we bring out for Mewtwo that will relate to both?
That makes sense to me. Pokken Tournament is set to release on the Wii U in early 2016.
They should make a Luchador Mewtwo.
But then he'd be copying Luchador to Pikachu. He can't top
that's fine.
Pikachu,
No, but it'd be cool. Like, they could be like, Pikachu can be all cute in his Luchador costume, and the Mewtwo's there, and you're like, Mewtwo, you just look silly. What are you doing?
You saw the trailer as well for the new Pokken Tournament one. What'd you think of the new moves that we saw from all the different Pokemon, and the reveal at the end of this new Mewtwo?
Well, Pikachu was just kicking ass, like always.
He was getting his ass kicked yet again, this time by Machamp.
No. He was kicking ass.
He got slammed into the floor.
He was taking a nap. Okay. Mewtwo looked cool. I mean, he looked in pain because there were crystals sticking out of his body. I felt that the form was very unimaginative, personally.
Well, they couldn't change it too much, because then it would look weird like the Mewtwo X and Y, which to me still look really odd. One was like a Frieza looking thing, and the other one has all these, looks like the Michelin Man almost, with all the ribs and all that stuff. But otherwise, it is another form of Mewtwo that they can sell in the TCG, And it's great to see that there's going to be, I guess, secret boss battles in Pokken Tournament. Someone was streaming the foreign version of Pokken Tournament when they get to this boss battle, and they were using Gengar and Mega Gengar to kick this Mewtwo's ass. I was like, fuck yes! He's like turning into Mega Gengar and using his fist and fucking fisting Mewtwo. Like, If you actually watch the video, that's actually what he's doing. He's just doing that over and over again. I'm like, yeah, fist Mewtwo. Mewtwo can't take it. Like, he's blocking, but he's not blocking. Like, he can only block so much before Mega Gengar actually gets to him. And when you finally defeat him, he's just like, there's a little cutscene, he turns away from Mega Gengar and then disappears. So it's not like you ever actually beat him or knock him unconscious.
He just kind of fell in love with Mega Gengar and then just, peace, yo.
It's like, you give me a purpose.
Shwing, gone.
On to merchandising news. Acon Investments, the company that owns Spencer's, which are those little stores in the malls, purchased Funko last week.
Funko is best known for their pop vinyl culture figurines.
You've got to be living under a rock if you don't know what those are. They've made them out of everything. Harry Potter, the DC and Marvel universes, Bee and Puppy Cat. I mean, there's all, not Bee and Puppy Cat, Cartoon Hangover, all of the Bravest Warriors. Essentially anything you can think of, movies, Child's Play, I'm waiting for The Exorcist, the little Reagan pop figurine. They've made it, and they're going to continue making it. There's even exclusives at Hot Topic, at GameStop. The old CEO for Funko, Brian Mariotti, will remain in his position.
Cool, so he still gets to make money, Spencer's gets to make more money. We'll probably see more and different figures.
Possibly, or the same. I think this mainly affects Spencer's. Me working at an independent comic shop doesn't affect us much because we can only order previews exclusives, which aren't necessarily just for our shop. But this is mainly, I think, to cut off Hot Topic, because that's their main competitor, right? Just Hot Topic. So no more Hot Topic exclusives for them. Instead, there'll be the Spencer's exclusives. So that's where they kind of get you, where they actually force you to get in there. I read a Reddit post that said, so and I guess now they're going to come out with like the dildo pop vinyl figurine.
That's what I was thinking. The bachelorette party
pop vinyl.
That's pretty amazing.
Do you care either way? I mean, we look at both places. We go to both places.
Yeah.
We go to the mall, Spencer's and Hot Topic, and they each have their own thing. I think for the pop vinyl collectors, that is going to get them in the shop and hopefully getting them to pick up more stuff. It's going to change Hot Topic's display for pop vinyls drastically, though, because right now you go into a Hot Topic and there's a huge section for pop vinyls based on what the theme is. Like, here's the Marvel pop vinyls next to the Marvel t-shirts.
Here's the Dragon Ball Z ones. Here, yeah.
Absolutely huge. And I think they're going to have to rethink that. If you're Hot Topic, or you're going to be like, well, now we're buying these from Spencer's, essentially, and...
But, I mean, you got to look at it, too, like, what kind of money are they making off of those? Obviously, a lot. And you're still going to have those people. Yes, Spencer's has exclusive ones, but Hot Topic can still get popular ones. So they're still going to have that crowd that only goes to Hot Topics going in there and still purchasing those. Beyond that, you have so many more readily available Hot Topics to go to as opposed to Spencer's.
Yeah, that's very true as well. There's definitely more Hot Topics out there. Do you think this is a good move for Spencer? Should they have spent that much money to buy Funko? Do you think people are going to get over the Funko Pops, or will that always be a thing?
I don't think it'll always be a thing. It'll be a thing for a while because they're adorable. You see something that you like and you're like, oh, this is only $10. Cool, I can pick it up. This is a character that I really like and it's adorable. I do that every time I walk in. I'm like, little baby Vegeta. Maybe I'll spend the money today. Maybe I won't because I'm broke. But, if I wasn't broke, I would definitely spend the money. So they're going to make money off of this because I'm sorry that the margin is like so huge. They probably make them for 25 cents and then of course they sell them for $10.
Yeah, then, Hot Topic has to buy them first. So for Spencer's, it is the most profit right there for them.
But even still, if they're selling them at wholesale, Hot Topic is still making some sort of profit.
Yeah, probably about $4 to $5 a pop.
Ha 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 ha. So one figure that I'm sure is already out, but they should bring out more of them, is Supergirl. Because the Supergirl TV show.
Yeah, it sounds like it's really successful. People are enjoying it. I don't know if it's getting Gotham numbers. I highly doubt it is. And we'll know in a couple of weeks after a few episodes where their ratings are going to sit for this season. But we actually got to see the pilot. I know some people found it leaked and saw it months ago, but we checked it out along with everyone else. And we have about 2 episodes that have released since then, which we will be watching this week. But the first one had the villain Vartox, which we now have in the Harley Quinn and Power Girl issue.
Yep.
And let's give our overall thoughts on the pilot, how they handled Superman, the changes they've made from the comics, and how we enjoyed it overall.
So I feel that I was a little mixed with this pilot. There were some parts that I really, really liked and some parts that I felt could be handled a little bit better. One of the things that still bothers me, I mean, which being a woman I understand because I do this too, but how much she needed to rely on people to make the decisions that she made. It wasn't, she'd sit there and say, well, this is what I want to do. I like doing that. And then people would say, no, you shouldn't do that. And then she would doubt why she wanted to make that decision. And, she should have just been like, cool, like, that's awesome that you don't agree with this, but watch what I can do.
Maybe the idea was over the season, you're going to see how she becomes more confident with herself as she takes on the persona and embraces the fact that she is Supergirl and that she will protect this particular city while her cousin takes care of Metropolis. And that she is a symbol, just like Superman is, for all these people around her. So maybe that's the route they were going in. My main issue with the pilot was that they rushed a little bit too much in the character development. Mm-hmm. I didn't mind that we're like, okay, so she can fly, she can jump around, here's her powers, that's fine, that's cool. I think people are a little bit tired of seeing origin stories, so the fact that they spent maybe a quarter of the episode showing you what her powers were and how she can use them, I had no problem with that. That's fine, let's see them, done. I think the rest is with her sister. There's so much that they built on her, and a big turnaround that is revealed about 3/4 of the way there, that would have been a lot stronger if they took more time building that relationship between Kara and her sister.
Yeah, I could see that. Maybe have that big reveal kind of at the end of the episode, and then you start the second episode building off of that. I understood why they couldn't do that, because of course as a pilot you want to tell a full story right in the beginning and establish as many characters as possible. But that definitely would have made that relationship stronger, would have made me like that character a little bit more. Because right now I'm like, kind of a bitch.
Some of the criticism online was that it was too much about focusing on the fact that she is a girl, whereas another show where it's a boy, like she wouldn't be so much like, oh, is it because I'm a woman and I can't do this? And some people were saying, well, she should just do those things and not mention, like, it's because I'm a girl that I'm doing this, and instead just show that you're strong by being a strong, regular character, as you should be written. Do you think they went the right route in the way that they set up the pilot and the way that they're doing the show?
I don't know. I can see both sides of the spectrum. Yes, I agree that for me, I would love to see her just being a strong person. Like, Gail Simone doesn't write strong female characters. She writes strong people. And I would have loved to have seen that route. I understand why they went how they did, because sexism still is very real and happens every single day, and men are partially to blame for that, and women are partially to blame for that too. So I understand where they're going, and if your target is young girls, then pointing out that I can do this because I'm a girl blatantly is what they need. Subtlety doesn't really work, because then you look at it and you go, cool, she's just strong. You need someone to sit there and say, I'm a girl and look what I can do. So I understand. I can't fault them for it. It's not the direction that I would have taken, but I guess I'm part of their target audience, but there's a bigger target audience than just me.
The two characters that are huge in Superman's universe, the Man of Steel himself and Jimmy Olsen, I thought were handled really well. I like this new version of Jimmy. I think he's like an older version of Jimmy. He's not always in peril. He understands the Man of Steel, how he works, and he's a great mentor for Kara without the Man of Steel having to be there.
Right.
To be like, this is how you should be, this is what Superman is about. No, it's Jimmy kind of coaxing her along, and then when she learns, he's like, this is exactly what he would have wanted. This is what he wanted you to learn. So he's really, really awesome on the show. I really like the way they reinvented Jimmy Olsen. And I kind of want that Jimmy in the current DC movies.
Right.
The fact that they don't show Superman, I think, is smart. You don't want to establish, like, this is the face of this version Superman. He's a symbol, right? So, plus you don't want to take any of the spotlight away from the characters that you have on this show. Also, if you showed off Superman's face, you'd kind of expect them to show up in the show and help out Supergirl, which I think we don't want quite yet. Especially if you have your own DC Cinematic Universe, you don't want to confuse your audience and tell them, oh, well, there's this other Superman now. It's just like they're going to have to do with The Flash.
Yeah, definitely. I do really, really like this Jimmy. One of my favorite characters on the show, I think. Her little sidekick guy, I'm like, but you're going to fall in love, so whatever. But I love the little glimpses we got to see of Superman, understanding how those two are related, but keeping them very separate. It was a very smart move.
One last thing before we move on with our news. We saw Superman for no more than 60 seconds in that. Did you pick up on any Superman loves Batman moments in those tiny fractions?
Like all of them. Everywhere. Because he wanted to help out Kara, because then when he brings Batman there, he can pretend it's their child. And he just, the way he stands, it just reeks of loving Batman.
Help me take care of her. You know, because there's some discipline that you have that I don't have, that you can maybe bring to her, because you're such a great Justice League member. And then, you know, it'll be like you're her parent, just like me.
Like the two of us. Maybe we can all go to dinner sometime. Get to know each other better. Moving into some comic book news, and we have a fair amount of it before we get into our comic books this week. In a tweet from Marvel Entertainment last week, a Haunted Mansion comic in the same line from Disney Kingdoms is in the works.
It was kind of a big tease because there's a huge amount of Haunted Mansion fans out there. The Haunted Mansion variants for Uncle Scrooge, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, they sold really well for any retailers that actually qualified for it. So I think out of all the Disney properties, I mean, you could do a Pirates of the Caribbean comic, and I think it would do really well. And maybe they're planning on doing that for the new Pirates movie to coincide with it. If they were smart, and it's Disney, they know how to make money, they will do that. With Haunted Mansion, I'm in. I'm willing to check out the first couple of issues. If it's the characters from Disney Kingdoms, though, I'm immediately out. That quickly, I'm like, no, fuck this. I don't want to see like those characters run around the Haunted Mansion. I want us to follow the ghosts and the monsters. I want to see the background to the Haunted Mansion. Give me all of that in a comic book form, because you can do it in comics. You can't pull that off in movies as easily. Do it in the comics. Do it as a 6-issue miniseries. If it does well, do it like Figment. Haunted Mansion 2, 6 months from now. I'm in. I'm excited.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to see the background story. You have Madame Leota, and you have the butler, and you have the headless bride, or not headless bride. What is she? That bride in the attic.
Whatever. Who cuts off?
Yes, cuts off people's heads. Whatever her name was. What was her name? The Ghost Bride? She has a name.
I think it is Ghost Bride, actually.
Is it Ghost Bride? It's something Bride. Anyway, let's follow all their stories. That would be so awesome. So cool. But I don't think they're going to do that. But that would be cool.
Or you follow the story of the person riding the ride. Because I heard a rumor, and I don't know, there's bigger Disney fans than even you out there. And they know that you are the person going through the Haunted Mansion. If any of Brokettes have been on the Haunted Mansion, you sort of know the layout of it. As you're going around the mansion, the ghosts appear to you, and you see them, and you're like, oh shit, there's all these ghosts. And when you get to the Ghost Bride, where she has the axe, and what she's done with all her victims, she gets married, she cuts off their head, and then she gets their inheritance. Well, the thing is that when you see her, because that's right before the ride kind of goes into the graveyard, the rumor is that she kills you, and that's why you, as a spirit, that's when the ride turns around and you go backwards from the house into the grave. And when you see the man with the dog and they're looking at you and they look frightened, it's because you're a ghost at that point. And that's when you're in the graveyard with the rest of the ghosts and you're now a part of them.
1, that's way too fucking dark. 2, I have no inheritance. Why does she want to kill me?
Because you were there, I guess. I don't know.
3, she only killed them when she was alive, but now she's a ghost. Can't kill nobody as a ghost.
Tries to kill you like you can't. No material.
Except my dad and I don't know how we got on this topic, but he was talking about people getting impregnated by ghosts the other day. And then I had to tell him the story about how one lady got pregnant by watching 3D porn, supposedly. And then we were just baffled about life.
Do you sound like pornos, if anything, like pregnant by ghosts? Maybe if it was Patrick Swayze, like, oh.
That would be great. I would watch that.
Even if it's fucking Whoopi Goldberg. He's controlling Whoopi's body.
That'd be awesome.
You got to rewatch that movie. That absolutely happens. It's like, I'm like, oh, it's this gay moment, sort of. Do you remember she was holding his hands and then they kissed and all that?
No.
Yeah. He was in her body.
We need to rewatch this.
It's not a great movie, but believe it or not, it's a movie from my childhood. And I know some Burkheads out there are like, I was 25 when that came out. And I know I'm trying not to make you feel old, but when I was a kid, I watched Ghost. It was on WGN because I used to live in Chicago. And they always had that little animated dog in between commercials, like, now, back to our show. So it was appealing to a kid, like, oh, what are we watching? Is it cartoons? and Ghost came on, and you saw ghosts and the little animations.
Yeah, here's Patrick Swayze helping make pottery.
Those parts I didn't get, but I really enjoyed, like, all the little animation with the ghosts when they would come out, and he was moving pennies. Like, those special effects were kind of awesome, and even as a kid, I appreciated them. So, yeah, Ghost is a movie from my childhood. Fucking ghosts in the subways, knocking people's hats off and trying to fuck their old girlfriends while they're dead and all of that. My childhood. One of those things. So yeah, Haunted Mansion looks pretty awesome. Well, yeah. Patrick Swayze better be in that.
Hopefully. That'd be great. He could just be in the background making pottery.
Seducing ghosts.
Yes, perfect. Dirty ghost dancing.
All right, so now we have a actual date for Spider-Man #1, which stars Miles Morales, and that is February 2016.
Finally!
This date was up in the air because Secret Wars couldn't decide when it was coming out, and that maybe it was going to be 9 issues instead of 8, so all the other #1s got delayed, except some of them came out anyway, like Spider-Man. So I'm like, where the fuck is Miles? And what happened to Silver Surfer? Because that even hasn't come out. Mm-hmm. So now we know, February 2016... we're getting our Miles Morales Spider-Man book, which is our favorite one, right behind Superior Spider-Man.
That is wonderful news. Cannot wait for that to come out, because it's been a while since we had some Miles, and we really fell in love with that character.
Marvel released this news by tweeting out pictures of inked pages from the first issue.
Good.
And I'm like, that shit's been done for 3 months, Marvel. There's no way Sarah Pichelli's just been sitting around twiddling her thumbs all this time. No, she's probably on issue 3. But, you know, you got to show like, oh, look how much work we're doing. Spider-Man #1. That shit's done, guys. It's complete. So the final bit of news, we talked about last month the advanced comic reorders. Well, that has changed just a little bit compared to what we had in September.
Yeah, so this is the top 10 advanced comic book reorders. We're going to start with number 10 and work our way down to number 1, which is, of course, the most reordered. First up at number 10, we have Black Magic #2 by Image Comics.
I know nothing about this comic, nope. But I guess they needed to order up on the second issue because issue 1 did sell pretty well. Do you remember what the difference was between advanced reorders and just a regular reorder?
Yes. So... maybe. Okay,
give it a shot.
No. Let me. Okay, so you order a book. Cool, it's ordered. And then people come and they're like, nah, I did want this book. So then you advanced reordered it. And then after the book's already released, then you can reorder it.
It's actually changing your numbers a little bit. Like, can you please add 10 more is sort of the thing. So you can actually add more to your initial first order before the cutoff date. Mm-hmm. So it's like, instead of 50, can you send 75? You know, that kind of thing.
So I was right.
Yeah, you were right. Except it comes on the same day as the regular release.
No, I was right.
So that's what these are. These are the bigger changes. Last month it was the Dark Knight 3. All the retailers were like, okay, so there's definitely some interest behind this. Order up on everything. And that's when we saw DC's numbers go back up. At number 9, Godzilla in Hell #1. The third printing from IDW.
This sounds like the coolest shit ever.
Gail Simone gave it a glowing review. She adored this comic, but she loves Godzilla.
It sounds great. Like, Godzilla wakes up in hell one day.
Yeah.
Like, he's in hell. And he's like, I'm gonna fuck shit up. And I'm like, yeah, Godzilla, you fuck up hell. And then at the end, I want God to be like, good job, Godzilla. You can come be... like,
you can come fuck shit up in heaven.
You can come be up in heaven with me. And then we'll start a new comic called God and Godzilla.
I've gone through that comic. There's no dialogue because it's Godzilla in hell. And yeah, it's him just waking up in hell and he starts fucking shit up. But
That's awesome.
He comes across his other monsters from the past who are already dead and he has to fight them.
Cool. In hell. This is awesome. I would totally put dialogue. It would be, roar! It'd be everywhere.
So yeah, he has to fight his past enemies who are now teaming up against him in hell. It's more like the 7 circles of hell than anything. So it's not...
No, you made that too complicated. He just needs to be fucking these guys up, and then Satan shows up, and he starts to fight him too. There could be an epic showdown in the end, like Godzilla versus Satan with his little pitchfork. Like, oh my god, this is great. Why did we take so long to create this?
I do like that most readers are like, Godzilla in hell? And I'm like, I know, what a title. Like, it immediately catches you, even if you don't buy the comic.
Why haven't you purchased this for me?
Well, I might have to with the 3rd printing coming.
I want to get a giant tattoo on my whole back of Godzilla in hell. I think this would be amazing.
Just stepping on, I don't know, what do they have houses in the 7 circles of hell?
There's got to be like lakes of fire. Can he like come up from the lake of fire? Like that's where he lives now? And I'm like, Godzilla, that's fire. He's like, yeah, I know, it's great. And I'm like, oh shit.
We have to torture him with this. Nah, I'm gonna step on those and
destroy stuff.
I like how physics still works.
Yeah.
He still has his fiery breath.
It's perfect. This is the best thing ever.
So 3rd printing, well earned, number 9, or should it be up higher?
I mean, it should be like before number 1. Can you do that? This is great.
So now we have a Marvel book at number 8.
Venom Space Knight, number 1. Choi Hip Hop variant.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, the hip-hop variants are doing extremely well, and some of them aren't coming out yet because of the delays from Secret War. So we're going to have hip-hop variants up until February when Spider-Man Miles Morales releases. There will be a hip-hop variant for that. So Venom is always very popular. Any symbiote books, order up, it'll always sell. It doesn't matter if it's a comic from the 90s that they printed out thousands of. If it has Venom on it, people will say, I like Venom, he looks cool, I'm going to buy that.
You know what I want? I want a Godzilla in Hell hip-hop variant. He can have like a little sideways hat and a gold chain. And he's in hell like, yo.
You'd get that one too.
Can somebody draw this for me, please?
We do have several artists that do listen in, so.
Artists who listen, draw me Godzilla in Hell, hip-hop variant, fucking shit up. And I will make it the background on my cell phone. That's all I can do for you.
I'll retweet it.
Dan will retweet it. And I will give you a shout out on the podcast.
At number 7, another Marvel book, Darth Vader number 13. This is the man connecting variant. So there's going to be a bunch of connecting variants with the Darth Vader Down story. This is the first crossover tale that we're going to have from the new Star Wars series that Marvel is publishing. So there's going to be a big... Darth Vader initially was just a miniseries. I don't know if you knew this. Sold really well, and Marvel went, oh shit, well let's make it an ongoing, as you should. If a miniseries sells well, make it into an ongoing. But this is going to cross over into Star Wars and Darth Vader back and forth. So if you want to read all of it, you got to pick up Star Wars and Darth Vader for the story that is Vader Down. To be honest, though, it's not a bad move because those 2 books are the 2 most popular Star Wars books that people get. If they're getting Star Wars, 90% of them are getting Darth Vader as well.
They should also have a Darth Vader hip-hop variant. I am on these hip-hop variants now.
You know there was a Star Wars rap?
Really?
Oh yeah, in the 2000s you have to see. I'll have to show it to you. That was in my junior high days.
Well, it sounds magical. So number 6 is Venom Space Knight number 1. This is not the hip hop variant.
Just a regular one. And again, Venom. He was a Guardian of the Galaxy at one point. He's off in space. You always want Venom in your back issue bins. At number 5 is Extraordinary X-Men number 3 from Marvel. I'll have to look back into that one because I don't know if number 1 sold as well as it should, considering that we've gotten a number 3 and it's so high up on the advanced reorders. With X-Men, unless it's Old Man Logan, I don't know if I would order up that high, so I think retailers might be stuck with a couple of number 3s.
Number 4 is a little lower on the list than it should be. We have Saga number 31 by Image.
I guess retailers haven't really nailed down their numbers on Saga because they're like, oh shit, we need more.
You always need more
Did readers
Saga.
just drop off and be like, oh shit, I forgot about Saga, and now they're picking up a bunch? That's kind of weird. You should always have like your Saga number nailed down.
Best book ever, Godzilla and Saga in Hell.
I don't even know how that would work.
I would make it work. It would be great. It would have this great impacting story, but it'd be Godzilla in Hell. Fucking shit up.
At number 3 is our only DC book, and that is Justice League Darkseid War Lex Luthor number 1. That shocked me. That sold way more in reorders than Saga even. Now, I know Lex Luthor has a very awesome position in the Darkseid War as of the last Justice League issue. I'm like, the 2 characters that are like, oh shit, they got awesome powers are Lex Luthor and Batman. So I kind of can see
Flash
that.
got some really cool powers.
Yeah, but for this to be up at number 3, I'm like, damn. People really ordered up on Lex Luthor. Might be another one that they'll be stuck with.
Number 2 is Darth Vader, number 13 by Marvel.
And complementing that with Vader down, at number 1, Star Wars number 13.
Not surprised.
So it was all Star Wars for the Marvel, or for the reorders, and very good for Marvel because they are selling up on that Vader down. It's going to do well. Inevitably, there will be one issue that everyone's going to be short on, and they're going to need that because it's Vader down part 4 or whatever. So hopefully Marvel will do the smart thing and keep those in print, and if not, do a second printing shortly after. So now we have the top 5 trade paperback reorders. So these are books that already exist and retailers are just ordering, and based on sales, they're getting more of these books. And number 5 is Art of Marvel Studios trade paperback. So this is the stuff that their movies are based on. You can check out the concept art for the Wasp, for example, in the latest Ant-Man movie, her original costume. That'll be in this book.
That's pretty cool. Number 4, we have Batman, The Killing Joke Special Edition hardcover.
That's a book that a lot of people have been asking about recently.
That's interesting.
And I don't know where this jump came from. Maybe it's because of Jared Leto and Suicide Squad. Maybe it's because of the Arkham games. But something, or it could even be that the Batman series just ended with Endgame, so people want to learn more about the Joker. But something has people thinking having them have Joker on their mind, and they want to read more about him, and they want to go back and read Endgame. So I don't know what it is. Killing Joke always sells well, but to have it on the top 5 reorders is kind of crazy.
Next up, at number 3, we have Walking Dead Compendium Trade Paperback, Volume 3.
So these are these big-ass, bigger-than-Bible stories where they have like 50 issues in one thing.
That's crazy.
It's the most cost-effective way to catch up on The Walking Dead. If you're reading The Walking Dead and you're like, holy shit, there's over 160 issues of this fucking thing, you can get the compendiums. The compendiums will get you a shit ton of issues, and for your $1, it's the best value. That's the quickest, easiest way to catch up. Still what sells the most is the regular single trade paperbacks, the soft covers, which has 6 issues in each. They're about $15 a pop. You can get those every week or every other week, every month, however your budget allows. But if you have, I forget how much the compendiums are, but they're up there. If you have the coin, you can catch up with 3 of these bitches and then just get the regular trade paperbacks and catch up from there.
Right. That's a great idea. Can Saga do that? Because I would buy it.
There's a Saga Omnibus, that hardcover. Yeah, it has like the first 3 trade paperbacks.
Why don't I own this?
Or maybe it's just a deluxe edition. Either way, I know it's got a ton of trade paperbacks, and I'm surprised you haven't gotten any of the trades, considering how much you like the series.
Well, you don't tell me when they're coming out.
Well, they're out now. I can get it tomorrow.
Okay, done.
Which one? The Omnibus?
All of them.
The deluxe edition?
All of them. I need them all.
At number 2 is Hawkeye by Matt Fraction. This is another omnibus, and it's actually a hardcover. Very critically acclaimed is that Hawkeye series. I've been wanting to read it. I read the first issue from Comixology. It was one of the books that they were offering for free. And I read it, and it was really, really good. So I probably will eventually get around to reading the trade paperback.
And finally, at number 1, where it should be, we have the Saga Trade Paperback Volume 5. I will be purchasing the omnibus tomorrow.
If you pick up Volume 5, you'll be caught up on Saga. And the creators have said that the next issue of Saga will be a jumping on point, as they've already gone in the future. What was it, 2-3 years?
It was a little ways, yeah.
Hazel's definitely older.
Mm-hmm. When's that coming out?
It should be this month.
About fucking time, guys. God. Grow old and die waiting for this series. But I love you. You're my favorite Saga. Don't
now
go
we
away.
can, before we go into our reviews, we've got a couple of things to cover. First is our sponsor, Dr. Phillips Center at the Walt Disney Theater.
Mm-hmm. There you can check out Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions Friday, December 4th at 8 p.m.
Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions has become the must-see video game concert of the year, giving fans and newcomers of all ages a chance to experience the evolution of the Pokemon franchise like never before.
Tickets start at just $25, and you can pick them up at www.drphillipscenter.org.
As we get closer to that date, though, even that $25 might be gone. Those seats are probably out of here. So now you're probably looking at a minimum of $50. Still worth it, though. Get those balcony seatings if you need to, if that's what's affordable. And that's actually what we ended up getting. I'm like, where's the cheapest one? Let me get those. Because I know from where you're sitting, the way they built that theater, you can hear the concert just fine no matter where you're at. And they'll have a big screen with the video game graphics and movies and all that, just like they did with The Legend of Zelda. So you'll be fine wherever you sit. If you want to get close to the actual orchestra, cool. If you have the money, by all means, check it out. But otherwise, whatever you can, and that'll get you decent seats to a concert that won't come to the Central Florida area for maybe ever again.
And if you guys can't afford that, then just let me know and I will sing all the songs for you.
For free, by the way, just for your time.
We will put up a 30-minute podcast of just me singing Pokemon songs and doing Pokemon noises. I'm getting better. Go ahead and name a Pokemon.
Jinx. Goldeen. Magikarp. Gyarados. Alright, let me do one more. Snorlax.
I'm so good at these.
Now we have our Patreon shout out of the week. Huge one for Christopher on Twitter at @TheIrishOnFire.
We would like to give a huge thank you to Christopher for being a Patreon supporter and a huge congratulations on the birth of his child.
Yeah, a young boy named Kellin, which is spelled Kellin.
Named after me. Thank you. Clearly.
Just added an N after Kelly.
We'll call him Kelline.
Kelline. You saw the picture of him holding his baby.
Yeah.
It's not a redhead baby.
But we don't know that yet. It could happen.
It's got a little hat.
Yeah. You take off that hat, it could be a redhead child. You don't know.
He's going to confirm on Twitter like, no, it's not.
Sometimes babies lose hair and it grows back in red.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Not me. I haven't lost I was born with a head full of hair. So were you, right?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, just black hair up. I'm pretty sure I had a beard too. Came out
probably.
with a beard.
That's real weird. But no, like my mom, she was born with red hair and then it all fell out and grew back in blonde.
Yeah, mine worked the opposite way.
Weird babies.
So huge congratulations once again to Christopher, who's been a huge support to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast from very early on, if not near the beginning. So thank you and congratulations, Christopher, on Kellin.
Kelline.
You too can get your Patreon shout out by heading on over to patreon.com/thereasonsimbroke for a donation of the minimum of $1 a month, which equals out to $0.25 an episode. You too can get your shout out every single month. And if you go to the higher perk, which is courtesy of decalavenue.net, for $5 a month, after 3 months, you get a special decal. And moving forward, after this first round of decals are going out, we will do polls based on what theme they want to see for the next round of decals. So once again, that's at patreon.com/thereasonsimbroke.
We would like to preface, though, that our podcast will always be free. The most rewarding thing we get out of this is just communicating with all of you and having you listen and support us. But if you say, I can help monetarily because this helps us give you guys a better podcast as well.
Now we can move on to our comics for the week. We've got 2 indie books, 1 Marvel book, and 4 DC comics, one of which released last week, but we weren't able to get a copy, so we got one this week.
Our first comic is James Bond, #1. This is written by Warren Ellis with art by Jason Masters, and the colorist is Guy Majors.
Right in time, the same week as Spectre. Once again, this is how you fucking market shit. People are excited about Spectre. You put out the James Bond comic the week of release. Now, this one is based more on the novels, so this is not going to be a James Bond that you see from the movies, especially not Daniel Craig. You're not going to get that Bond. This is going to be a dark-haired Bond, more subtle, a little bit more, I guess I would say, classier than what we've seen in the movies. So it does read like a novel, but the layouts for the action scenes are actually really cinematic, so you get a little bit of both.
I will say the first, however many, like that first little part of the book, 5-6 pages,
first
however
action
long
scene?
it was, yeah, that was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Because you have this whole and then he comes out and he says that thing, and I was like, I'm in love. This man is so awesome. And then the rest of the book I was kind of like, stuff happens. But that first part was so cool.
Yeah, the artwork is awesome. That first opening scene was great. I think the establishment of what he's going up against is a little bit weaker for James Bond. I kind of wanted to see something bigger, but as always with these stories, it does end up unfolding, and we end up getting something bigger in the end anyway. So we're sticking on this. We're watching Spectre this week, so we're big on Bond. Can't wait. We're sticking on it. Next indie book is Paper Girls number 2, which we gave glowing reviews to number 1 for. Written by Brian K. Vaughan, your Saga Man.
Yes.
Art by Cliff Chang, my Wonder Woman man. And colors by Matt Wilson.
Still a great issue. I'm loving the story. I'm loving these characters. It ends on a pretty big cliffhanger. I mean, I think I know what's going to happen. But, you know, you finish this book and you just want to read more, and you're sad that you have to wait a month for it.
We get more answers and more mysteries at the same time, and that's how you fucking write a comic. Because the next month you're like, well, what the hell? Dinosaurs and monsters and blah, blah, blah. So you want to learn way more about what's happening, and that's not a spoiler because we still don't really know what the hell's going on. So it's really awesome. I love Paper Girls, and you should be reading it too. Very close to my pick of the week, but it's only because of my love of Batman that something else took it. But that'd be definitely my runner-up.
It was close to my pick of the week too. It was a great, great book. Next up is Howard the Duck at number 1. This is written by Chip Zdarsky with art and colors by Joe Quinones.
Ah, yes. The $4.99 comic. The one that I bitched about a couple weeks back. Like, why are you making Howard the Duck $5? Oh, Gwenpool fucking backstory. We'll get to that in a second. But as far as a new number 1, we get Howard the Duck, who is not from this world. We know he's an alien. He's from a different dimension, whatever you want to call him. And we get to finally see him try to get home. He's not happy being with humans. He's ostracized. If you're a human in the duck world or the animal world that he comes from, you would be treated like shit, just like he is here. And you see examples of it in the previous issues of Howard the Duck before they had this renumbering, and you get more of that in this one. We get some guy bitching about his taxes and calling him, I don't remember what he was bitching about the government, and then Howard the Duck is like, no, fuck you, and so all of this finally gets to him, and he's like, I want to get the fuck out of here. Fuck this place. And we see that it's never as easy as that.
But something pretty big to happen in the next issue. I'm excited to see where that goes, because we get the introduction of 2 characters that we haven't seen before.
Right, with the Howard the Duck series. Now we can... the fucking Gwenpool backstory. I've already got speculators like, it's the first full appearance of Gwenpool, and whatever, dude. It wasn't special at all. It was Gwenpool with Howard the Duck. I'm like, well, can we see more Howard the Duck? But I understand why. The Gwenpool variant sold really well, and because it's Deadpool, and then Spider-Gwen was really hot at the time, and now you combine the two together, and it was a low-print thing. So now they're like, oh, well, let's put her in the comics and see how that goes. Fine, take a chance, throw a dart, see if it sticks. With this one, though, I don't know. What'd you think of Gwenpool? Was it like Deadpool, sort of, but kind of...
I've never read Deadpool, so I can't tell you if it was like Deadpool. I was totally confused, because you were sitting at the table talking about Gwenpool, and I had already read the comic, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
So who do you think that was? Just some pink ninja?
Like, weird... I don't know. I was reminded of, like, some Batman villain that happened at some point. You know, I understand why they're doing it, but am I interested? Not particularly.
They could have cut this out of it and brought this back down to $2.99, $3.99 even if you wanted to, and I would have been completely happy.
Yeah.
But no, we're going to get this Gwenpool backstory for who knows how many issues, and we're going to be paying $5 for it.
Ridiculous.
Big no-no, Marvel. On to the DC books, first one being a final issue, and that one being Bat-Mite number 6 of 6, written by Dan Jurgens, art by Corin Howell, and colors by Mike Atiyeh.
This wrapped up really, really quickly for me. I mean, which is okay. I enjoyed the series. It was still a lot of fun. I think the ending was my favorite part, where we get the reveal of these, what seem like major deciding factors in Bat-Mite's life.
Yeah, almost like Guardians of the Galaxy, sort of, with the Green Lantern series.
Anyway, so that was my favorite part, was the very end. I feel like we didn't really have a good wrap-up with all the other characters that he's run into along the way. They're just kind of like, whoop, and now we're over, doop, done. You know, but still, overall, it was a great series. If you guys didn't have the opportunity to read it, I'm sure there'll be a trade paperback. I recommend picking it up and checking it out, because it was a whole lot of fun. And they do hint at the end that, you know, this isn't it. That there's still a possibility for more. And if there is more, then I will definitely be picking it up.
So with Bat-Mite, the ending of number 6, do you really think it's over? Or were they being like, oh, well, this is it, and we're just going to leave you here?
Because with the characters they reveal at the end, like, I would read a book just about them.
Yes.
I think that would be so much fun. Like, just release, I don't know, 3-issue miniseries or even a one-shot and see how it goes.
Of the Justice League Mites or something? Yeah.
Yes. It would be awesome.
Next book is Detective Comics number 46, written by Peter J. Tomasi, art by Marcio Takara, and colors by Chris Sotomayor. My pick of the week.
My pick of the week, too!
It's been many, many months since Detective Comics has been our pick of the week.
Yes.
This confirms what I thought was going to happen, and that the new direction for the creative team was going to improve the comic. And it definitely is absolutely true. This ends like if you want to read the story, pick up number 45. That's a new creative team, and 46 is the end of the current story. It's just 2 issues. The story arc is done, and it ends very strongly.
I don't even think you need to pick up the last one before this one.
Probably because I can see that, because you don't know about the characters, the villains, I should say, until you pick this up.
Right, but I feel, because I read this and I was like, cool, and then I remembered what the one was before it, and I didn't really feel that it was needed, because it kind of, okay, it shows how Gordon gets to where he is, which didn't really matter. He's there, cool. And then it kind of like sets up a bigger mystery than what we actually have. What they gave us was so heartfelt and sweet and just almost perfect that it didn't need that much mystery and intrigue and what's going to happen behind it. It just needed this story and these moments that they presented.
And the ending was like, I could hear the animated series sad music.
Brr, 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 brr.
That exact one, where every cartoon had their sad version of the theme song, including the animated series. And that's what I heard at the end of this, and I'm like, this was awesome, and this worked out extremely well, and all of this is good. And yeah, I was sad by the end of it, and he did such a Batman thing that I'm like, well done, Jim Gordon. I don't think even Kelly can object to this.
Nope, and I did not, and that's why it's my pick of the week. Our next book is Harley Quinn and Power Girl number 5 of 6. This is written by Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, and Justin Gray, with art by Stephanie Rue and Flaviano. He should be the colorist. And the colorist is Paul Mounts.
Here we see the Harvester of Sorrow, and how he can apparently very easily be corrupted by Harleen Quinzel. More fun from Jimmy and Amanda. I think if we're going to see Power Girl and Vartox get married, that switchover is going to have to happen really quick, because we're 1 issue away from ending this miniseries.
It's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed this arc a lot. I've enjoyed seeing Harley and Power Girl work together, and hopefully they'll still be really close at the end of all of this.
Well, at the end of all this is the continuation of this story. Remember Harley Quinn from about half a year ago?
Yes.
Where they come out of the portal, and she still doesn't remember who she is. So I guess we still don't know if they're going to end up being friends, because she remembers everything. She remembers who she is, and she kind of leaves. You never see Power Girl and Harley Quinn ever team up so far. And we're already in the future as far as the continuity goes compared to what this is, because this is just a story from almost a year ago. Right.
Well, we'll see. They're a lot of fun together, so I hope that we get to see more of them.
There you go, Jimmy and Amanda. We want more Harley and Power Girl.
Yep.
If not her, then team us up with Ivy. If not her, do another Gotham City Sirens type of book.
That'd be awesome.
With the Road Trip special. Final book this week is Justice League Darkseid War Batman number 1. That's the one that I had mentioned from last week. Written also by Peter J. Tomasi. Art by Fernando Passarin. And colors by Gabe Eltaeb.
This was a great issue also. We still have Batman on the Mobius chair is what it's called. Flying around doing his Batman thing. Using it as Batman would to help stop crime in Gotham.
Yeah, this is the ultimate Batman, as he said. The absolute justice for the absolute Batman. He can see what people are thinking and stop a crime before it happens. So he charges them before they actually commit the crime, because he knows what they're actually going to do already, because he has the Mobius chair. And that's when Gordon says, well, you're fucking filling up our system because we have no crime they haven't committed a crime, so we can't hold them. They're just releasing them. And he's like, then that's when Batman says, well, they've learned. They know that I'm there. And he figures by changing them in their initial path that they will change in the future.
Beyond that, though, how many lives does he save by doing that?
And I think that was his whole point.
Right.
This was actually my pass of the week.
Really?
Because people have read this on the internet already. Joe Chill makes an appearance in this issue. So you see how the New 52 Batman would confront Joe Chill knowing what he knows now. And I think it was way weaker than what it should have been. I almost wanted that meeting to continue, like put in the Spectre or something, and then have real Batman, not the one corrupted by the Mobius chair, meet Joe Chill. Because we've seen the story before. It's happened before the New 52. And it's been stronger than this. There's been stories where he forgives him. There's been stories where Joe Chill's sick and he dies and he regretted ever killing the Waynes. So it kind of changed Batman's perspective. Or it could be like in the animated series where he never meets Joe Chill and Joe Chill just has a heart attack and dies. So all of this is been told before, so I felt like this was a weaker rendition to it. Sounds like you had a different opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. I enjoyed it. You know, this is the Batman that they've created for us, the Batman who's corrupted by the chair. Yeah, it would have been cool to see what regular Batman would have done, but you know, I'm glad that this whole issue was following Batman. Because I started reading it and I said, okay, so when are we gonna jump to the next character? And I'm so happy we got to follow him through the whole thing. And, you know, I think maybe at the end of this, Batman maybe grew a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. I enjoyed it. Possibly.
I think Joe Chill, they could have done way more with, instead of just like, I'm bad, I'm glad I did that. You know, that kind of fucking attitude. I don't know. But that's just my thing. So for that, it was my pass of the week. But it does give you a nice tease as to maybe we'll finally find out who the real Joker is based on what happens in Darkseid Wars. Maybe it's too much of a jump to assume that, but it would be nice to see.
Yeah.
So that will do it for this week, Brokettes. To summarize, my pick of the week, our pick of the week actually, was Detective Comics number 46.
And Dan's pass of the week was Justice League Darkseid War Batman number 1.
I'm assuming no pass of the week for you?
No pass of the week for me.
Awesome. We do want to once again thank our sponsors, the Dr. Phillips Center at the Walt Disney Theater, our Patreon supporters. Once again, congratulations to Christopher, Twitter at The Irish on Fire, and to our Brokettes out there listening and for supporting us here at The Reasons I'm Broke every single week.
And if you guys heard any news today or read any of the books that we did and want to comment or have a different opinion, let us know on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke, or you can let us know on Facebook. Just search The Reasons I'm Broke.
We will have a review for Spectre next week. If you've seen Spectre at the time that you've heard this recording, this podcast, let us know on Twitter, on Facebook, and I will compile all the reviews, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook, depending on how long it is, and I'll put them on next week's notes, and then we can hear your thoughts, your reviews on Spectre, and compare it to what we thought of the movie. Again, facebook.com/The Reasons I'm Broke, but of course head on over to nerdupmedia.com and click on the Reasons I'm Broke logo. That will give you a link to everywhere you can find us.
While you're over there, you can click on our shop too. There you can pick up a t-shirt with the Nerd Up Media logo. It comes in a variety of men's and women's sizes, or the exclusive purple The Reasons I'm Broke t-shirt.
There you go, and that about wraps it up, Brokettes. You can go ahead and put away the wallets, put away that cash, save it for Spectre. Go watch Spectre this week. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
We'll see you next week.